Okay, so today's message is I'm in my 30s and was recently getting to know someone I really liked. I thought things were going well, but he suddenly ended things. It's been really tough emotionally and mentally, especially since it feels like another failed talking stage. How can I stop dwelling on this, pick myself up, and actually move on in a healthy way? What are your thoughts on this, Sylvia?
That's a great question and something that I can relate to. So, with a failed talking stage, it does impact a person mentally and emotionally, especially when you have your hopes up and think that it's going to go somewhere. And when it doesn't go anywhere and it ends, perhaps on their part, even on your part, it can feel quite draining emotionally, mentally, quite disappointing and upsetting. And then you think, why hasn't it worked out? What's happened? And it's about, I guess, taking that time off. So, what I would recommend is take about 2 to 3 weeks off from the marriage search, especially once the talking stage ends, and just take that time off to process everything that you're going through because there's a lot of emotions going on, a lot of feelings that come up. And sometimes it's about grieving the end of a talking stage, which is completely fine and natural, especially when you had your hopes up and had hoped that something would come out of this talking stage. And so during those 2 to 3 weeks, I would just take a step back from the marriage search, process the emotions, don't shut them down, journal them, perhaps even talk to someone about the feelings that are coming up for you. I think it's really important to really process the emotions and really go through them and not shut them down. Talking to someone can really help process those emotions and help you reflect upon what happened. It's about really just letting it out and talking about it. And instead of trying to fix it and solve it and figure out why it went wrong, just talk about it, just let it out, just unpack everything, just let those emotions out and share it with someone. It can help you if you have your feelings validated by someone. So I would do that once the talking stage ends, is to take time off and process your emotions and really just sit with yourself, reflect upon how you're feeling, talk to someone and even journal it. Even focus on self-love, do the things that make you happy, spend time with good friends, go for a walk, do things that make you feel good. Sometimes during the talking stage we get so wrapped up in that person or about a possible future, and then when it ends you feel heartbroken and it sucks. Sometimes it does really suck and it does hurt. So it's about taking that time out to really heal and focus on yourself and not worry about the marriage search and jumping back straight in and talking to the next person. Because talking to the next person, especially if you haven't emotionally worked through the feelings that you're feeling from a failed talking stage, you'll just carry that on when you're connecting with someone new.
Definitely. And I don't know if you've seen this on marriage apps. Some of the bios are very much passive aggressive or full on aggressive because they're just saying, oh, if you're like this, then don't even match with me. And it's basically just people carrying the baggage from past wounds of past talking stages. And I completely understand it because I've been there as well. I've been ghosted. I've been left without any explanation in a courting stage that felt like it was going really well. And it can be a little bit traumatizing. So definitely if you put yourself out there straight after, you are probably going into it from a place of, am I going to get hurt again? I just want to fill that void that I'm feeling right now because that person left me. And that's not really a healthy place to be approaching this process. So when this happens as well, I feel like we tend to ask ourselves, what is wrong with me? And that's why I think it's really healthy to talk to someone, because if you get stuck in the negative thoughts that sound like, oh, there must have been something that I said, it must be something that I am, it must be about how I look, and he wasn't ready to say it or comfortable saying it, and that's why he just left. And so having someone who knows you even sometimes, or who has a neutral perspective on things, can be helpful in rebuilding your self-esteem if it has been impacted by that. And I feel like it doesn't even matter how long you talk to someone. If things are going well and you connect with the person, even after a few days, if they disappear or they decide to just end things without any explanation, it can leave you wondering, what is wrong with me?
Yeah, I totally agree. What happens when a talking stage ends is that we tend to just bring it back to ourselves and think there's something wrong with me, especially when someone ends things with you. So, for example, my experience, I could say that I've had those negative voices feed in saying, oh, it's you. It's probably something you said. It's probably something you did. And I tend to go back and think about the conversations I've had and what I've said and what I've done. And maybe if I'd done something different, maybe if I spoke in a certain way, or maybe if I had this conversation I had with this person a different way, things would have turned out different. But the thing is, it doesn't matter what you would have done differently, it would have still ended the same way because this wasn't meant to be. So what we end up doing is beating ourselves up and blaming ourselves when something doesn't work out. We think it's us when it's not us, it's them. It's never you, it's always them. If they've walked away, if they've ghosted you, if they've left you midway, you've not had closure, it's them. It's got nothing to do with you. It's actually a sign of their, I guess, their lack of maturity and ability to have an adult conversation and let you know why they don't wish to continue. Especially if someone is ghosting you or just disappearing like that, it's definitely not a reflection of you. It's more a reflection of them and their lack of maturity to have an adult conversation and to end things on good grounds as well. You can walk away and say, this is not for me. Thank you for your time and wish you all the best. Saying something like that will actually help someone move on better. Whereas ghosting them, it leaves them feeling that there's something wrong with them, that they've done something. And when you don't work through that, you're carrying that doubt in your mind that there's something wrong with me. What if I match with someone else and they do the same with me? And then when you go on straight away to talk to someone else, you're projecting that fear. What if that person ghosts me? What if they don't like me? What if they also reject me and end things? So it's that constant cycle. So what I would recommend or what I've been doing is that taking that time off, reflecting, seeing what actually happened. Are there any subtle patterns I haven't picked up? And then working on myself. So when I'm ready and when I choose to go back out there and connect with someone new, I'm coming from a place where I'm ready mentally and emotionally. I've worked on myself. I've identified any patterns. If they're coming from me, I've identified that and I've worked with that. And then I'm ready to move on and connect with someone new. And I'm in a better place emotionally, mentally. So I'm not bringing those negative emotions from previous experiences to the next person I'm talking to. Because what we end up doing is thinking everyone is the same when they're not. Not everyone is going to ghost you. Not everyone is going to treat you in that way, in that manner. And so if we heal and we work on ourselves, the next person we approach, we come from a place of curiosity. Who is this person? We look forward to talking to them, but also it's about not being attached to the outcome and letting go and not being worried if this goes anywhere or not. And I think that's the key.
Even as the process is starting with someone new and you're getting to know them, I feel like some people, both men and women, have a tendency to really fantasize about the future. And just after a few days of talking to someone, we'll start thinking, what would my life look like if I moved in their country or in their city? If we get married, what is the wedding going to be? I definitely used to struggle with that. And then I realized that's not normal. And that's actually something that's tied to having ADHD, by the way. If anyone has symptoms of traits of ADHD here, and you tend to get very excited about a new talking stage at the beginning, and you're almost taking it out of proportion in terms of how much you think about the person and your future with them, know that there's something in your brain that is programmed to work like that. So there are things that you can do in order to slow down and not get overly emotionally attached from the get-go. And it is increasing your self-awareness of how much time, energy, and thoughts you dedicate to that new person you barely met. Because with fantasizing comes the tendency to idolize someone and put them on a pedestal and think of them as this perfect human being that you're so glad you're talking to at the moment, with whom you're going to have an amazing marriage and it's going to be this fairy tale. So it's really important to slow down, because if it ends up not going through, the pain is going to be much higher if you have fantasized about the future too much and you have idolized the person. But if you manage to stay grounded and be realistic, occupy yourself with your normal activities, do not prioritize that courting stage over everything in your life, maintain your normal schedule, try your best to not overthink and obsess over the person, then letting go of them if it doesn't work out is going to be a lot easier. And I know it's not easy when all your life you've had almost this addiction to love, the addiction to being given attention for a little bit. The love of love, really. I think a lot of us, we love falling in love more than we actually love the idea of being married. And it's being conscious of these things. And I can say for a fact, talking to someone who's a professional has helped me realize these things about myself. So, what would you do if you had a client that came to you in that situation? So, yeah.
So, if I had a client who has come to me in a situation where a courtship has ended and she's going through a very difficult time processing it, first of all, I'd suggest that she takes a step back from the marriage search and just sit with herself for a moment and just really process those emotions. So, I would offer her a small package in terms of working with me. So, I would spend 3 weeks with her. The first session, what I would do is just sit with her and let her unpack everything that happened, to share everything that she's feeling, everything that she had been through, without the intention of trying to fix her and trying to, I guess, talk about how things could have been different. It's not about that. It's literally just about unpacking, letting her just talk it through. And I'm there to listen, and I'm there to hear her, and I'm there to support her. And that's what I would suggest. Just talk it through. So that would be the first session. Hopefully that would help her feel more lighter afterwards. She would feel heard and feel validated, which is so important. I think you definitely need to feel heard and validated, especially when a talking stage ends and it's going round in your head and you have all these thoughts coming up. Sometimes you just need to share it with someone and just need to feel heard. So I think that's really important, and that's what I would do with my client. And then the second week, the second call, what I would do is sit down with my client and then we look through her previous experience and see if there's a pattern. If she's repeating a pattern here, we'll look through that together and see if it's coming from past experiences. So we'll try to connect the dot and see what's going on. And I think it's really important to take time out to reflect on previous experiences to see if there is a pattern there, because sometimes we don't know that there's a repetitive pattern happening with each talking stage. Perhaps she is attracting the same person without realizing. Maybe it has toxic qualities and she doesn't know she's attracting him, and she's going for the same type of person, and hence she's attracted the same outcome. Or perhaps she's carrying something, whether it's negative thoughts about herself or just having doubts about the whole talking stage or the marriage search, that when she actually goes and connects with someone new, she's still carrying those negative thoughts and she's projecting that on that person. So perhaps without realizing, she might be projecting that in communication and then it doesn't work out in the end. So there might be something going on there that she's not aware of, that I would work with her and see if there's any patterns that we can identify together. And then what I would do with her finally is to sit and reflect with her and ask her what she learnt from her previous experience and what she will do differently going forward. So with each talking stage, it's an experience that we go through. If it hasn't worked out, it's important to sit down and see what's happened here. What can I learn from here? Is there something that I need to learn about myself? Is there something that I should do different going forward? So the next person that you connect with, the experience you have will be different because you've learned from your past experience, you've identified a pattern, you've realized where you've gone wrong, and now you've equipped yourself, and now you can move forward and have a better experience with the next person going forward. So that's what I will do with my client, is to sit down and have those powerful conversations with her that are impactful, so she can walk away feeling heard, understanding more about herself and her patterns if there are any in each talking stage, and then going forward feeling confident about the next person that she connects with, feeling more empowered in her marriage search as well.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. It really sounds like you're now making use of what seemed to be a negative experience when in reality, as you said, it's just a lesson.
Yeah, I think if we take every experience we've gone through for each person we spoke to, regardless of how long it's been, whether it's a long courtship or a very short courtship, there's always something to learn from. We can learn something about ourselves because we don't realize we're not perfect either. And we have to take accountability where we're going wrong. If we are repeating certain patterns that we're unaware of, we need to take accountability for that and work through that. Because once you work through your patterns, and if you identify there's something there and you work through that, then I can guarantee the next person you speak to, the experience you have will be positive regardless of the outcome. So it's about not being attached to the outcome, that it has to progress to marriage and something has to work out. You can have a positive experience with someone and it doesn't work out, and that's fine. But the interactions you will have going forward will be positive and you'll enjoy them as well. And you'll be able to attract and connect people that are aligned with you and have the qualities that you have and that you're looking for. So that's important. By healing yourself, working on yourself, identifying any patterns that are there, you get to attract quality people and have better conversations.
And I think it's so important to learn to bounce back as healthily and as fast as possible after a courting stage ends, because we live in a time where unfortunately we do have to go through a lot of profiles as opposed to our parents. I'm sure if I think about my parents, my mom, she just got married to my dad and that was the only option and that's it, you know? Like there was no such thing as the grass might be greener somewhere else. There was no apps, there was no marriage website, none of that. So nowadays we talk to a lot more people. And so if you end up being depressed after each conversation that does not go through and become a marriage, you're going to be depressed most of your adult life. So we need to learn to regulate our emotions so that we can have a healthy approach to finding a spouse, inshallah.
Yeah, definitely, inshallah. Don't dwell too much in each talking stage. Don't dwell too much. Process it, learn from it, and move forward. As you said, otherwise, we are going to sit there feeling depressed, not going to move forward, and your situation isn't going to change. So it's about shifting your mindset, seeing each person as each failed talking stage as an experience. What did you learn from? What can you grow from? And then moving forward and seeing as this is the journey that Allah's taking you through to eventually put the person He has for you in your life. So perhaps with each failed talking stage is to help you grow and become the woman you need to be to receive that man that Allah has for you. So it's about detaching yourself from each person that comes into your life, being grateful for the experience you've had. Thank Allah, okay, each person has spoken to, thank you Allah, it hasn't worked out, alhamdulillah, Allah has protected you from something that you don't know. Learn from it, ask Allah, even what do I need to learn from this experience? Where do I need to grow and change? And then grow from that and evolve and become a better version of yourself, because ultimately Allah has your person written out for you, but perhaps you need to go through these experiences to grow, to develop, and to become the person you need to be to receive the man that He has for you.
Absolutely. All right, beautiful. Now, I've got some examples that are taken from real life examples from different women here. And I want to do a rapid fire red flag or not with you, if that's okay.
Yeah, go on, sounds like fun. Let's do it.
Are you ready for it? So I'm going to say them. You say red flag or not. And then if you want, you can develop further in some of them that have sparked something in you and that require more depth. Okay. So number one, he uses filters on all his pictures on his marriage profile.
I would say red flag, but he could be insecure about how he looks, so don't dismiss him. Perhaps connect with him and ask him why. Or you could say, well, I noticed some of your pictures have filters. It'd be great to see how you look like without them. So it could be that he might be feeling a bit insecure, but it's not a total red flag. So I would give him a chance, I would say.
For me, it's an immediate ick. It might not be a red flag, but it's an ick. That means, so usually I've seen that a lot, and usually it's Snapchat filters. And that's telling me you have Snapchat. And that for me is a red flag, because usually I look at profiles of men who are over 40 years old, and at 40, if you've got Snapchat, I'm sorry, I can't.
But now you say that, if you're a man in your 40s and you got Snapchat using filters, then that's questionable. But I think I'm trying to give someone the benefit of the doubt. But if it's giving you the ick and you really can't speak to that person, then just leave it. But if you have an open mind and you don't mind exploring it, especially if his profile is written and it's quite decent, then no harm giving it a go.
All right, next one. He first says Allah has blessed him financially, then later on admits being in 10,000s of credit card debt.
Red flag, complete red flag. I would say don't engage with someone or talk to someone who's in debt, because if you marry that person, that debt will fall onto you as well. So stay away from someone in financial debt. They need to resolve the finances out before even looking to get married.
Yeah, and it's the lack of transparency as well. Like, why would you say that Allah has the best you risk, and then down the line, when someone is more emotionally attached to you potentially, then you open up about having those financial issues? I think that's really not fair on the person you're talking to. Third one, he often makes jokes about wishing he could be in a romantic relationship with his mates.
Red flag. That's just weird.
Number 4, he repeatedly mocks you for buying yourself expensive skincare with your own money.
Red flag. Complete red flag. No one should mock you for who you are, the way you choose to live your life, and what you do with your money. That's your money. And if your moxie perhaps is feeling insecure, the fact that you are financially positioned that you can buy those products, so I would say red flag.
Yeah, definitely. I think that screams insecurity. And the final one, he says he received signs that he was sent by God to be your husband.
Red flag. It's living in la la land. Complete red flag. It's love bombing.
That's it. Those were easy. I think it's on the first one where we kind of disagreed there, but for the others, it's mainly red flags. Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Next time, I keep on building that list up for you. Stories that I hear about, and also things that unfortunately I go through myself.
I'm sure most women can relate to us and have loads of stories to share.
Yeah, inshallah, maybe we can get those red flags or not from the audience eventually as well.
Yes, definitely, inshallah. Once the website that I've been working on is ready and built, there'll be red flags on there. So I'll be open to sisters to add their red flags as well, just so we can share knowledge and educate each other, especially in the marriage search. And there'll be green flags as well to share, because that's important to emphasize as well, not just red flags, but green flags.
Sounds good. So everyone make sure that you subscribe to Sobia's channel and that you join the waitlist to be alerted when the website is out.